few years ago, I did a video called Things I'd Like to Say to My Irritating Neighbor. Surprisingly, one of my more popular videos. At the time, I just had to get all of that off my chest because it really was. I was really rattled by how irritating he was in ways that I didn't really have the vocabulary for at the time. For example, this guy was a mansplainer. Like, he was the actual definition of mansplainer. Just that kind and also that combination, the Dunning-Kruger effect. Like, you didn't know what the fuck he was talking about, really, about anything. Also, the microaggression thing, which that I know that word drives people nuts because they act like it hasn't existed in psychology for many years. So it's like, I don't know, fucking contrarians. Read a book, for fuck's sake, before you just object to everything. But anyway, all that shit. I mean, but just like a series of things that just built up over time. And of course, when I made the video, it's like everyone in the comments becomes your dad. They're like saying, "Well, you should confront him. You should." But like, what the fuck was that going to achieve? But anyway, but actually making the video at the time made me feel better. It actually cured the situation because I realized I don't have to stand here and listen to him. I can actually leave. There's actually no consequence to any of this. It was kind of like in Seinfeld when George would go into Steinbrenner's office and Steinbrenner would just keep talking and George would leave, and it was fine. So yeah, and then a few months after I made the video, I had a screening at a theater just down the street from my apartment, just showing YouTube videos, and my neighbor went to it, and I didn't show the neighbor video, obviously, but he said some really nice things, and I felt bad. So I took the video down because I figured, well, it's achieved its purpose. Now I can, forget about it. And then he moved away, and people started asking me what happened to the video. People missed it, and eventually I just thought, I could put it back. It doesn't matter now. Now it's its own thing. It's just a comedy piece, has no connection to anything. And then I went viral. So because it was one of the more recent uploads, it started getting a lot of extra views and also a lot of comments. A lot of people debating, I guess, about the ethics. And again, more dads, well, you shouldn't have made the video. You should talk to him. Anyway, it's like, fuck, it's all in the past. Fuck you. But and then because of that, because everyone in my neighborhood, they saw my viral video and then they started looking around my channel, and some of my neighbors knew exactly who I was talking about, and I said, "Oh yeah, no, that's absolutely, you nailed him." And then there was other people who, not just people who lived in my neighborhood, but anyone who had ever lived near me at any time in my life, even if it was like a mile away, thought I might be talking about them. Like, they got paranoid. Even though there was absolutely... In that video, I'm very specific. Everything I say is about something my neighbor said to me. And my neighbor really did get kicked off a cruise for telling the captain he was wrong. Like, it was so specific that... I had to tell everyone, no, it wasn't, it wasn't you. And this guy lived in the building. He was unavoidable because he was always in the front. There was just no other way. There wasn't even a back door. I always had to walk by him just to get to my house. In fact, a few years ago, I tried looking on Google Maps on Street View because I was curious. He was out there so much. And for a while... they hadn't updated it. It was still like, during a year when he still lived there. So I was curious to see if he was on Street View, which he wasn't, but there's this little mat that he used to sit on, and that was on Google Street View, and I think even his coffee cup was there. Anyway, So I don't know if he ever actually saw the video, but there's an excellent chance that he did because of the because it went because of the whole viral thing. But there was someone who left a comment who, like, for a moment I thought it might, wait, oh shit, did he actually see it? But again, I looked at this person's page, and this person was from my hometown. Again, like, I had no idea who this person was. It was probably just someone who I might have had a conversation with once years ago, and they just thought, oh, now they've made a video about me. I don't know. None of it made sense. But then, just a couple years ago, my ex-neighbor was in the news because he accidentally shot himself. Not he survived, and it was an accident, but he was in an altercation, and he shot himself. So, turns out, he was armed the whole time. This neighbor that I made a video about, this very harsh video, he was armed the whole time. That was probably the smartest thing I ever did. I'm leaving out just enough information so that he can't actually look it up. I do want him to keep his privacy. But I also didn't know I thought when he moved away. I didn't know he was still living in the same town. So there's that. But anyway, after he moved out, there was this old couple that moved in, and they were cool. One of them was a psychologist, I think. They weren't there for very long. And then a young couple moved in after them, and they were fine, except they had this little dog, and there's nothing wrong with a dog. I love dogs. But they would always be talking baby talk to their dog all the time, very loudly, very often outside my window. It was excruciating. Just like they love that dog too much. And I say that I love dogs, but that was almost worse than the other neighbor, because I couldn't avoid it. Even just like turning my music up, turning on the air conditioner, like I couldn't drown out the love they had for that dog. It wasn't even that cute. I'm sorry, but it wasn't. And so now, where we live now, there's this very strange man who sits out. He's always sitting out, looking at his phone, always watching videos. I don't know why he can only do it outside. Might be getting Wi-Fi from somewhere. And then, from about 9 o'clock onward, he'll get on the phone and talk very loudly, very passionately, I guess angrily. We don't know what he's saying, but he'll from 9 o'clock onward, he shouts into his phone, which it is irritating, but it's one irritation. It's not a list like it was before. So, it's simple, and simple, I guess, is good.